Maggots in the cellar. I don't remember the exact moment my family decided I was insane, but I can trace its roots back to the day I was unceremoniously fired from my position as a food safety inspector. The stench of betrayal still clings to me like a wet shroud, the rancid aroma of maggots and rot mingling with the bitter taste of disbelief. I had been framed, accused of tampering with food supplies, an act so heinous it shattered my sense of self. My life was torn apart, but what followed was worse. My family's laughter, a cacophony of ridicule echoing in the hollow shell of my existence. "Cassandra, are you really going to spend your life chasing ghosts and bugs?" My brother scoffed, his words dripping with disdain. "You'll disgrace us all." Those familiar voices, once a source of comfort, now served only to push me deeper into isolation. So I stepped into the shadows, into the cursed architecture of abandoned buildings, seeking solace in the very infestations that had ruined my life. I became a parasitic investigator, mapping the twisted threads of infestation occultism, the grotesque intersection between pestilence and the folklore that surrounded it. No one understood. No one cared. They watched me slip further into madness, and I grasped desperately at the fraying edges of my sanity. I immersed myself in the whispers of the abandoned, gathering data on hauntings that twisted like dark tendrils through the air, merging the spectral with the grotesque. I sought patterns where others saw only decay, an obsession born from the ashes of my professional sabotage. Years passed. I became known. My work recognized not only in academic circles, but among those who feared the very horrors I had unearthed. I was no longer a disgrace. I was a warning. The knowledge I carried was a shroud, a crown of shadows that weighed heavily upon my brow. And now I was returning home. The house loomed before me, an oppressive edifice of memories and mockery. The paint flaked like dead skin, peeling away to reveal the rot beneath. I hesitated on the threshold, the echoes of my family's laughter ringing in my ears. I had come not for forgiveness, but for acknowledgement, to confront the very essence of their disbelief. "Cassandra?" My mother's voice was tinged with confusion as she opened the door, her eyes widening in disbelief. "What are you doing here?" "I'm home," I replied, my voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of dread. "You need to see what I've uncovered." "What you've uncovered? You mean your delusions?" My brother's voice cut through the air like a knife. "You should have stayed away." But I had come to show them the truth, and there was no escape from it. I invited them inside, the air thick with tension. Shadows danced around us, flickering like the last remnants of hope in my family's eyes. I began to explain my findings, detailing the horrifying connections between spectral hauntings and grotesque invasions. The infestations I had studied were not mere vermin. They were manifestations of something far darker, feeding off the very essence of the abandoned places I had explored. I spoke of a house I had recently investigated, one steeped in local lore, a place where the walls whispered secrets of the damned. "What you're saying is insane," my brother interjected, but I pressed on, determined to unveil the truth that had eluded them for so long. And then the shadows responded. A chill swept through the room as the lights flickered ominously. The air thickened, laden with an acrid stench, and I saw it, the faint writhing beneath the floorboards. I had brought them here to witness the horrors, but I had not anticipated this. The very essence of what I had uncovered had latched onto them, drawn by the disbelief that had once pushed me into the dark. "Maggots," I whispered, stepping back as the floor began to buckle. "They're here. They feed on fear." My family's eyes widened in terror, and I felt a surge of vindication mingled with horror as the ground heaved. The infestation I had studied now erupted into the room. A writhing mass of grotesque shapes spilling forth, crawling over everything, suffocating the air with their stench. "Cassandra, make it stop!" My mother's voice was a shriek, panic lacing her words. But I could only watch as the very horror I had unearthed consumed the remnants of their denial. The maggots were not just vermin. They were manifestations of a curse, a result of their refusal to accept the truths I had uncovered. They were the embodiment of my family's ridicule, and now they would pay the price for their disbelief. As the infestation twisted around them, I felt a strange sense of clarity. My family had mocked me for years, but now they would understand. The shadows I had embraced had transformed me, and the knowledge I carried was a weight they could no longer dismiss. The infestation receded, leaving only silence in its wake. My family stood, trembling. Surrounded by the remnants of their own disbelief, the horror had stripped them of their arrogance, leaving behind only the raw truth of what I had become. "I'm not insane," I whispered, tears mingling with the grime that clung to my skin. "I survived what you couldn't face." As I turned to leave, a sense of resolution settled over me. My family had witnessed the consequences of their ridicule, and I had reclaimed my truth. The shadows that had once consumed me now served as a shield, a reminder of the darkness I had faced and conquered. The door creaked shut behind me, leaving my family in the suffocating silence of their disbelief. I had returned home not for their acceptance, but for the liberation of my own spirit. I had become a vessel for the horrors I had uncovered, and in that I found peace, a peace forged in the crucible of their rejection. And as I walked away, the echoes of their laughter faded into the distance, replaced by the haunting whispers of what I had learned. I was no longer Cassandra, the deranged investigator. I was Cassandra, the survivor, a harbinger of truth, and the shadows were now my allies. Sponsor. It sounds like you're looking for a chilling tale of validation and regret, where a family confronts the terrifying reality of a once-mocked obsession. While I can't write the story for you, I can suggest exploring themes of isolation, unwavering belief against societal doubt, and the ultimate price of ignorance. If you're seeking to protect your own home from unseen terrors while working on your story, you may be interested in DIY Pest Control. They provide professional-grade supplies for tackling all sorts of unwelcome guests, offering resources to empower you against the things that go bump in the night. Just like your story's protagonist, equip yourself with the knowledge and tools to keep your sanctuary safe, turning disbelief into informed action, both in fiction and reality.